Thanks for joining us for CBN News Midday. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Lori Johnson. At least 11 people are dead following violent clashes between Muslims and Christians in Egypt. Christians took to the street in protest after a Muslim mob attacked and burned a Cairo church last week. And there are reports the Egyptian army has hit the Christian demonstration with live ammunition. Ephraim Graham has more.
In this latest unrest in Cairo's streets, Coptic Christians are demanding Egypt's government do more to protect them. The Coptic Christian community is only about 10% of the population, and there are complaints of widespread discrimination. Thousands blocked a main highway with burning tires and threw rocks at cars, and Muslims responded by attacking the Christians. The crowds are also angry because of a weekend dispute between a Christian and a Muslim family that ended with the deaths of 2 people and the torching of a church. Egypt's military has promised to rebuild the church. But here on this Christian broadcast, a Coptic priest is calling for help. He says the Egyptian army is hitting the Christian demonstrations with live ammunition and that 7 people have been killed, 50 people have been injured. And the Egyptian army is preventing the ambulances from reaching the victims to get help. Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
And senior international correspondent George Thomas joins us now with more on these clashes in Egypt. And George, clearly the military is not protecting the Christians, so who do they trust over there?
One word, nobody. I mean, there's absolutely nobody to trust. Who is there to trust? You expect law enforcement, the police, the army to step in to protect these churches. Absolutely nobody. They can't turn to the Islamists. The Christians today in Egypt, let me put it to you, Mark, this way. They are an afterthought. They may represent 10% of the population. Nobody gives a hoot about these people. They're just on the margins of society. They're considered second-class citizens. And there was, we saw 3 weeks ago when Muslims and Christians gathered on Tahrir Square, they were calling for the ouster of Mubarak. There was this euphoric moment. In fact, you saw shots of Muslims protecting Christians when they were praying. You saw Christians protecting Muslims on Fridays when they were praying. Is that relationship today sustainable? Absolutely not, because there are various agendas playing out today on the streets of Cairo. In essence, you've got people who want to turn Egypt into an Islamic country and caught in the crossfire of these agendas are the poor Christians, making up 10% of the country.
Well, you don't sound too optimistic, George, about what's going on in Egypt and the Middle East. So how do you think things are going to play out? Maybe give us some hope here. What needs to be done so that there is a positive outcome?
I have been reporting on this broadcast as well as on our other shows since we started seeing these uprisings 4 weeks ago. Look, you have to, at the end of the day, you have to have Egyptians on the streets of Cairo saying no to Islamic law. Today, there is this culture of fear in the Muslim world. Nobody is willing to stand up against this archaic, draconian laws of Islamic Sharia law. When I see Muslims protesting against Islam, I have hope. Yesterday we commemorated the 100th anniversary of the Women's Day around the world. Yesterday, 1 million Muslim women were supposed to hit the streets of Tahrir Square. Only about 200 people came out. Do you know the majority of those who did come out were men, in essence spitting at the women, fondling the women, asking the women, you don't have a place in the society, go back home. So can you, in essence, bring democracy and freedom in such a culture? When I see Muslims on the streets of Cairo calling for the end of Sharia law, then I am hopeful.
Okay, thank you, George. Appreciate your insights.
You're welcome.
Lori.
Well, Israel is watching the situation in Egypt closely because a change of power there could have an impact on Israel's security. Chris Mitchell explains.
In 2007, the terror group Hamas took sole control of the Gaza Strip. Since then, more than 5,000 rockets and mortars have been launched from Hamas-controlled Gaza at Israeli communities, more than 120 of them since the beginning of the year. I'm standing about 300 yards from the Israeli-Gaza border. Israeli communities up to 25 miles away are in rocket and mortar range. Major General Eitan Dan-Goat told journalists Hamas continues to stockpile weapons after the fall of the Egyptian government.
Before and after The terror regime Hamas continues to make efforts smuggling munitions and arms under the tunnel ground and also from the sea.
Many weapons and explosives are smuggled into Gaza through tunnels under the Egyptian border, and Israel's concerned that could now increase. Mary Eisen is a 20-year veteran of Israeli military intelligence. She told CBN News the weapons come directly or indirectly from Iran.
Sometimes it's going to go Iran towards Damascus and from there towards the Gaza Strip. The easiest way that they would prefer to do is by sea. And the reason is because nobody touches it. You can't do that, you go by land. By land, you bring it by sea until the Sinai Peninsula. The Sinai Peninsula south of us, which is completely Egyptian, ruled by Egypt, the locals there, Bedouins, people make a living. Smuggling is a great living. You hook up with whichever Bedouin tribe is doing the smuggling. That's the main smuggling route, both for weapons and for people. It's up to the Egyptians.
Still, Eisen says, at least for now, Hamas is trying to keep things under control in order to avoid Israeli retribution.
Inside the Gaza Strip, the Hamas have actually been trying to be more firm. They don't want it to get out of hand.
But the question Israel is asking now is what will happen to Egypt, with the possibility of the Muslim Brotherhood playing a major role in the next Egyptian government. Israel will continue to carefully monitor what happens on its southern border. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, the Israeli-Gaza border.
Muslim attacks on Christians in Ethiopia have left at least one man dead and thousands homeless. Islamic extremists set fire to 59 churches and 28 Christian homes in Asendabo. The violence spread to outlying towns, and now more than 4,000 Christians have been forced to flee. Compass Direct News reports the violence began when Muslims accused a Christian of ripping the pages out of a Quran.
Congressman Peter King has been receiving death threats for scheduling hearings on the radicalization of American Muslims. That's according to the Washington newspaper The Hill. Liberals argue that the hearings unfairly target Muslims. But Jay Sekulow, chief counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice, says this hearing is not about profiling, it's about protecting our homeland. And we'll take an in-depth look at the hearings later this week on CBN News Midday. A high school in Rhode Island will continue to display a prayer banner, even if it means a costly legal battle. The Cranston School Committee made that decision despite threats from the American Civil Liberties Union. The banner uses the phrase, "Our Heavenly Father," and ends with "Amen." It urges students to do their best. They aren't required to recite the prayer. The ACLU says the banner violates students' First Amendment rights. The banner has been hanging in the school since the 1950s.
The deadline is next Friday for the Senate to pass a budget or risk government shutting down. But Republicans and Democrats are far apart over how much to spend. Republicans say the deficit is so huge, and the Democrats aren't willing to make cuts that will begin to pare it down. Democrats accuse the Republicans of wanting to make such big cuts it'll cost jobs.
The news yesterday was that we ran a $223 billion deficit last month. That's the largest deficit on a monthly basis in the history of our country. Our friends on the other side are going to offer a proposal here in the next day or two to cut a paltry $4 billion or so for the balance of this fiscal year.
They're destroying jobs. We're fighting for the middle class. We're fighting for the poor people. We're fighting for the poor little Head Start kids who they are saying, you've had enough help. You don't need any more help.
Over in the House, the Democrats' second-ranking member, Steny Hoyer, admits the deficit is so out of control it could take 20 years for Washington to dig itself out of this fiscal hole.
Conservatives are again calling for funding cuts to National Public Radio. This after a hidden camera caught an NPR executive insulting Tea Partiers, Christians, and Republicans. Conservatives in Congress say it's more evidence that NPR is biased and that it should not be supported by taxpayer dollars. The comments bashing Christians, the Tea Party, and regular Americans outside of the Washington Beltway were made by Ron Schiller, president of the NPR Foundation, in this undercover video. Schiller thinks he is lunching with Muslims who hate conservatives and Israel and who want to give NPR a $5 million check. He starts with the Tea Party.
Current Republican Party, particularly the Tea Party, is fanatically involved in people's personal lives and very fundamental Christian, and I wouldn't even call it Christian. It's this weird evangelical kind of move. The current Republican Party is not really the Republican Party, and it's been hijacked by this group that is
radical, racist, Islamophobic, tea party people.
And not just Islamophobic, but really xenophobic. I mean, basically, they believe in sort of white, middle America, gun-toting. I mean, it's pretty scary.
He adds America would be better off with more liberal elites, and he calls the majority of Americans uneducated and racist. Rich Noyes is with the Media Research Center.
What that video showed was an evident culture of snobby elitism that seems to be par for the course over at NPR.
NPR issued a statement saying, "We are appalled by the comments made by Ron Schiller in the video, which are contrary to what NPR stands for." Mr. Schiller announced last week that he is leaving NPR for another job.
Coming up, how the bad economy is putting families in danger in the UK and the Christian ministry that's bridging the gap.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
These are the greatest stories ever told. Presented by Academy Award winner Charlton Heston.
Thus saith the Lord of Israel, let my people go.
Join Charlton Heston as he travels the sacred lands of the Bible.
I'm going to take you with me on a journey exploring the stories in the Bible and the ancient land where they happened. This is said to be the very garden. This, the very rock where Jesus prayed for strength.
Now the Bible comes to life like never before. Time Life presents Charlton Heston's The Bible.
And Moses cast the tablets from his hands.
Praised by critics, this landmark TV series is now available on digitally remastered DVDs. You'll be inspired by the greatest stories from the Old and New Testaments, enhanced by historic works of art. Get Charlton Heston Presents the Bible on 4 DVDs for $49.99. Call with your credit card and save $10.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
And that's not all. You'll also get a free bonus DVD that takes you behind the scenes. And if you call in the next 10 minutes, we'll ship for free. That's an additional savings of nearly $7.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever.
Call now to get Charlton Heston's The Bible on 5 DVDs for just $39.99. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll ship for free.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thee.
Call 1-800-748-5167 to order Charlton Heston Presents the Bible for $39.99 and receive free shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card.
The weak economy is threatening families across the United Kingdom.
Some even face the threat of homelessness and hunger. But as UK correspondent Peter Wooding tells us, churches are helping bridge the gap.
As the UK continues to feel the bite of the recession, particularly after families will have accumulated even more debt over the Christmas season, shocking figures reveal 3.7 million children are living in poverty across the country. Mr. and Mrs. Sanford face the threat of becoming homeless as they struggle to find work to meet their mounting debts and desperately try to feed their 4 children. Mr. Sanford said he was so desperate he nearly turned to crime.
The main challenge was putting food on the plate. We were just about keeping up with some of the bills, but we were looking at losing the house at the time. The only alternative would have been, begging on the streets or crime to feed the family,
But when the Trussell Trust intervened to feed the family, there was a dramatic turnaround. Now they found enough work to keep their home and care for their children.
Not only is there the actual food they'll bring to your house, but then they can put you in contact with other agencies, people that can help you out with the benefit questions or whatever, Citizens Advice Bureau and other things. and they got us through the hard times, you know.
And the Trussell Trust here in Salisbury in southwest England is mobilising churches right across the UK to set up food banks to help many more impoverished families. Last year alone, the Christian charity provided much needed food supplies for more than 40,000 people. Chris Mould, director of the Trussell Trust, explains why their food bank ministry is so vital.
There are more people than ever before in our society who do not know where to turn. They are making choices between heating the home and feeding the children, between paying the rent and getting a square meal. And quite often we meet people who've gone without food for several days.
Mould says the greatest rewards of their work are the fact that they're literally saving lives.
Highlights for us are when people say, you know, that thing you did for me saved my life. Now, that's not too strong a claim. We've met several people who have been at the point of utter despair, and it's the Christian community through the food bank that has been able to engage with them.
And one of those who'd reached that point of despair was former drug addict Jim Bugden, who suffered such extreme depression he tried to commit suicide 3 times. During Christmas, Jim didn't even eat for 2 weeks until a drug rehabilitation centre put him in touch with the Trussell Trust Church Food Bank.
And as I went down here, I was working terrifically. It felt as though it was in another world, if you know what I mean.
Peter Moss faced bullying in the workplace, lost his job and became homeless. Despite all of this, as well as suffering from cerebral palsy, he now faithfully serves as a volunteer at the Trussell Trust Food Bank in Salisbury. Moss sees this ministry as a way of practically demonstrating his Christian faith.
It makes you feel inside you that you've given something, the love of the Jesus back to them. And the Trussell is here to help people back to the good Lord.
So as the UK faces what's expected to be another tough year with the recession, the challenge remains for the church to respond to this crisis for the sake of the country's children. Peter Wooding for CBN News, Salisbury, England.
Up next, neo-Nazis, Klansmen, skinheads. All these groups made the so-called hate map, but so did some Christians and pro-family groups. Find out why.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come explore Jerusalem, where Jesus opened blind eyes. Visit the hills of Galilee, where Jesus fed the multitude. Stroll through Capernaum, where Jesus lived and taught and healed. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit www.goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number or visit our website. A free idea kit and DVD will be sent to your home so you can discover all the benefits of owning your own pool. Compared to traditional pools, endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Our precision-engineered pools enable you to swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed and ability. Endless pools are perfect for year-round health and fitness, relaxation, and family fun. Our free idea kit and DVD will show you how easy it is for the whole family to enjoy a pool right in your backyard or home. An endless pool or an endless pool swim spa can become a showplace for your home. Call our toll-free number or visit the website to find out more about endless pools. The free idea kit will show you just how easy it is to be able to swim at home.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come sail the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus calmed a raging storm. Experience Jerusalem, where Jesus restored a paralyzed man. Explore Capernaum, where Jesus spoke a centurion servant into health. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
Well, historically, the term hate group has meant organizations like the Ku Klux Klan or neo-Nazis.
But today, Christian and pro-family groups are also being referred to as hate groups. Recently, I took a look at this disturbing trend.
I hate them because they exist.
America is no stranger to hate. Even though hate like this still exists today, it has been crippled thanks to the legacy of the civil rights movement.
I have a dream.
One watchdog group born from the movement is the Southern Poverty Law Center, founded in 1971. Located in the Deep South, it even features a hate map on its website, counting more than 1,000 active hate groups in the United States. But their recent inclusion of Christian and pro-family organizations as hate groups is raising questions. SPLC leaders label them as anti-gay groups, spreading lies about homosexuality that could lead to violence against gays. A recent issue of the SPLC's magazine Intelligence Report claims that gays are the most targeted minority in America. The magazine listed 13 organizations as haters because of their stance on homosexuality. Among those added to the hate groups list this year, the Christian organization Family Research Council. Editor Mark Potok helped put the hate list together. He tells CBN News just because a group believes homosexuality is unbiblical does not earn it a spot on the list. He says if the organization engages in name-calling and spouts arguments the Southern Poverty Law Center believes have been proven untrue, then it's a hate group.
While I'm not absolutely trying to draw a comparison between, say, the Family Research Council and a neo-Nazi organization, it does meet our criteria. The FRC does engage, certainly in our view, in the propagation of known falsehoods in an effort to defame gay people.
Peter Sprigg of the Family Research Council says the SPLC's accusations are not true.
I don't expect everyone to agree with some of the things that we assert about the homosexual lifestyle, but we do present evidence in support of those assertions, and they are certainly not falsehoods or fabrications.
One of the most explosive assertions links gay men to pedophilia. Sprigg has written that most men who engage in molesting boys, quote, identify themselves as homosexual or bisexual, citing an academic study in the archives of sexual behavior.
They actually interviewed child molesters, convicted child molesters, who had molested boys, and they found that 86% of the men who molested boys identified themselves as homosexual or bisexual.
Sprigg acknowledges this link is controversial and requires more research, but he tells CBN News the FRC welcomes the debate.
There is significant evidence in support of the position that we've taken, and we don't think the debate should be shut off by these gratuitous charges of hate.
The Family Research Council is spreading that through the message, start debating, stop hating. They put up a billboard in Montgomery near the SPLC's headquarters. Sprigg says standing against homosexuality does not make him a hater.
If somebody is labeled a hate group, it means that you not only are saying that what they argue is wrong, but you are claiming to know their motives. As Christians, we believe that every human being is created in the image of God. That is the highest respect that we can give to their personal identity.
Another question is whether it's right that so-called anti-gay views be equated with racism. Bishop Harry Jackson says no. He has taken a stand against homosexuality, and one time the SPLC labeled him a hater. Jackson believes the organization has lost its way.
Again, I say it's really just a veneer for gay activism at this point.
Jackson says the racism his father encountered in the South can truly be labeled hate.
My dad, when he was growing up, had a paper route. And on several occasions, he saw the lifeless bodies of African-American men who had been mutilated and tortured, hanging from trees.
Our purpose is not to say that the Family Research Council or another one of these organizations is the same as the Klan. That's clearly not true. But the fact is that for 30 years we have had on this list groups that merely engage in propaganda.
They have expanded their targets, targeting groups that in fact are not hate groups at all, but are just simply hold politically incorrect positions on certain issues like homosexuality.
Coming up, an SUV crashes through a house into the room of a sleeping baby. Hear the miraculous story of how the girl survived.
Millions of women worldwide love Bare Minerals.
This is smooth, it's nice, and it covers. I like that.
Only Bare Minerals looks like beautiful bare skin, while it covers whatever you want it to. And now you can get our latest kit with our totally new, totally spill-proof Click Lock Go Foundation. For over 75% off retail, our new kit comes with Bare Minerals Foundation in the shade that's just right for you. Warmth for a healthy glow. Mineral Veil, the ultimate finishing touch, and Bare Minerals Flawless Application Brush. Call now and get 3 full-size gifts worth $57.95 free. Purchased separately, you'd spend over $120. Our original Get Started kit was a great deal at 2 payments of $29.99. But now you can get all this for just 1 payment of $29.99. Save over $90 and get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Call 1-800-376-4174. Ask how you can receive this handy compact. Call 1-800-376-4174 now.
It's impossible to close an open can with a pop top. Open cans spill in the fridge. What a mess. And open cans lose their fizz. What a waste. Introducing Bottle Top. It turns your can into a bottle with the snap of a cap. Open metal cans can't travel. What a waste. Bottle Top turns your can into a bottle that's perfectly portable. You can't do this with an open can. Bottle Top lets any soda keep its carbonation. Look, bugs are gross, but Bottle Top protects your drink from insects. When you're done drinking, just pop it off. Rinse under hot water and reuse. Bottle Top keeps drinks from spilling. Now get 6 colored bottle tops for just $10. Call now and get 6 more. Plus, we'll send you the can top popper. Just pay separate shipping and handling. You get 12 amazing bottle tops, plus the can top popper, all for just $10.
Call 1-800-377-9176. But hurry, call now. We're giving away a bonus 6 more bottle tops and the can top popper with today's orders. That's 1-800-377-9176. Call now.
Welcome back. A Kentucky couple has a lot to be thankful for after an SUV crashes into their house directly into the room of their sleeping baby.
And miraculously, the 10-month-old survived the crash with only a few minor scratches. Kenny and Shasta Enright were in their living room when they heard screeching tires and a loud crash. Their first thought, of course, was to check on their little baby girl, Aliena. When they got to her nursery, they discovered a terrifying scene. An SUV had crashed through the wall, destroying their daughter's room. The crib where Aliena had been sleeping had been turned to rubble. Kenny says when he saw the debris, he was, of course, scared to look for the girl, but he had to look for her anyway. And that's when he found out the baby was alive and well.
It's like God put a steel bubble around her because she was in just this little tiny hole right up underneath the front bumper. The police officers asked me if I named her Miracle, and I said no. And I said, well, you should have, because it's a miracle she made it out of there alive.
Parents say their little girl recovered quickly and is already acting like her normal self again.
She's a cutie. I'll tell you what, maybe they should change her middle name to Miracle.
Praise the Lord for that.
Amen. That's all for this edition of CBN News Midday. You can find information on all the stories right here at cbnnews.com.
Thanks for joining us and have a great day, everyone.
We created this website as a place where kids can learn the Bible in a whole new way.
Kids will love Superbook.tv. There are games, the ability to create your own personal Superbook characters. We even have a place for kids to listen to music on Superbook Radio.
Superbook is CBN's animated series that teaches the Bible through the eyes of 2 friends and their robot sidekick. We're going to tell stories all the way from creation to Christ's return.
The website also teaches kids life lessons. Parents can spend time online with their kids learning about the Bible.
Superbook and Superbook.tv are entirely gospel-centered, and by supporting it, you'll help bring God's Word to children all over the world.
We're reaching a new generation with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Together, we can give today's kids the truth of the Bible in a fun and exciting way that will change their lives.
Visit Superbook.tv today.
Finding video on CBN.com just got easier. We've taken all our video, the 700 Club, news, testimonies, teachings, plus our 24/7 channels, and put them in one most convenient location, CBN TV. Watch what you want, when you want. It's all simple to find, and now easier than ever to email a story to a friend. CBN TV on CBN.com.